What up, YouTube? LTH coming at you with a video. 713 to Bio City. We in the freaking building. All right. The Texans coming off of a cold, hard L against the Lions, and they all battle red uniforms. Despite being up 23-7 and catching 5 interceptions, which should have been 6. But again, what good does that do when they couldn't score in the second half, which was totally embarrassing and inexcusable at that. And I know Texans fans such as myself were calling for Bobby Slowick to be fired. Even though I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, though. Which leads me to say that the Texans, should be either 8-2 or 9-1 if they figured out how to consistently score in the second half. When it matters most, at least like 2-3 touchdowns or even 4 TDs. They figure out how to do that, they'd be 8-2 or 9-1 instead of 6-4. Truth be told. I just thought I'd put that out there though. So, Houston Texans going to Jerry World to take on the Cowboys. And as far as injury report goes, they'll be without Alonzo Fatukasi, Blake Fisher, and Will Anderson. And Kamari Lassiter and Jeff Arcuda are questionable. And, of course, they'll be getting Mario Edwards Jr. back from suspension. On Dallas side, CeeDee Lamb is questionable. And Hunter Loop, I can't pronounce his last name, the running back, is doubtful, along with Jordan Lewis and Deron Bland, who are out. And Nick Bible is questionable. So, the Lone Star Battle, the Battle of Texas, and I get it. The last time these two teams met, Dak Prescott marched down the field on a game-winning drive in 2022, only because, Pep Hamilton couldn't be creative enough in the red zone. And yeah, they lost Damian Pierce in that game, which sucked. But moving on to November 18, 2024, how can the Texans get back in the win column? Well, they do get Nico Collins back, which is huge after being out 5 games with a hamstring injury. Because, man, they missed that. I know Collins is missed like crazy in that Texans offense because since he went down, that Texans offense haven't looked the same. And I know Joe Mixon's coming off his worst game of 24, since the Lions pretty much held him in check. John Mechie coming off his first career TD. And Tank Dell, got to play a lot better. A way lot better. So, how can, and of course, got to start strong and finish strong, scoring in the first half is good and all, but got to be willing to score in the second half, which they had trouble of doing, Since that Patriots game, Texans had a hard time putting up 7 or more points in the second half. Starting with Green Bay, then the Jets, the Colts, and then, of course, the Detroit Lions. So things got to change for sure because, the Texans defense is, pretty badass for sure, but they got to cut down on relying on the defense so much because defense, like I said it before, defense won't win the Texans every game, no matter who the opponent is. So with the schedule only gonna get tougher, so gotta rack up the wins they need to rack up. Of course, the Cowboys, and then the Tennessee Titans next, which is a divisional battle, and then the Jaguars and Duval. But I'm gonna focus on the Cowboys though, on how they can finally beat them in Jerry World. Of course, you gotta run the football. And yeah, I get it. The Cowboys recently got Micah Parsons back, who is a game wrecker. Got to neutralize him as far as that Cowboys pass rush. But offensive line's got to be a lot better, though, for the Texans. If it means opening up holes for Joe Mixon and Pierce. And, of course, giving Stroud time to throw the ball, survey the field. But it all starts with neutralizing Michael Parsons, because can't let him get hot early from start to finish. And, of course, attack their secondary. Curtis, thanks to Nico calling back. I mean, like I said, I know Diggs is out for the year, but still no excuse to why they don't attack the Cowboys secondary aggressively at that. And I understand, the coaching's got to be better offensively. Bobby Slowick, like I said on Instagram, open up the playbook and stop being so predictable. Because anytime Slowick has been predictable, opposing defense is going to have an idea of what they're trying to throw at them. I mean, it's already been talked about that teams have pretty much been figuring out how to beat the Texans and stuff like that. So for the offense to sustain drives, gotta read the blitzes, gotta protect the football a lot better too. Gotta protect the football for 4 quarters. Can't afford no foolish mental mistakes at that. As far as boneheaded penalties on both sides of the ball. I posted in my recap videos on Lions and Texans. This Texans team is capable of scoring 30 to 40 points consistently. If you take away the predictable play calling by Slowick. But, and I'll say it again, this Houston Texans offense, even with injuries, are capable of scoring 30 to 40 points. But isn't guaranteed? Absolutely not. But got to score points for all 4 quarters to win games. Stroud got to have himself a much better outing too, because, I don't want to say it, but it's starting to seem like Stroud is entering sophomore slump territory. So if he wants to avoid that, got to start playing a lot better, a lot consistently and efficiently at that. So Stroud got to do his thing and let Stroud cook. Let Stroud unleash the potential that he has as a quarterback. And, of course, get the tight ends involved. With Dalton Schultz coming back to AT&T Stadium to where he played his first 3 years there in Dallas before coming over to Houston in the 2023 offseason. Though Dallas had Schultz a 3-year deal extension set up for him, but he turned that down just to sign with Houston for a year before Schultz got the 3-year extension for Houston in this past offseason. So Schultz got to have himself a game too, a pretty good game along with Tank Dell. And John Mechie got to step up once again. Hell, even get Xavier Hutchinson involved. It's about offensive utilization. Offensive utilization matters for sure. Offensive utilization, because keep opposing defenses guessing, spread the field, and keep them guessing from all game at that. Because when you do that, opposing defenses can't really do much. Spread the field, run the ball effectively. And I got to say, Joe Mixon got to bounce back too. It's been getting 100-yard rushing yards every game, except for that last game against the Lions, which he was pretty much held in check, despite having a rushing touchdown. So, yeah, score points, win the time of possession, keep the Dallas defense on their heels. And, of course, offensive line got to play better. If they can do that, this team shouldn't have no issues, having a much better outing. Now, as far as the defense, Yeah, they won't have Will Anderson, which sucks, and possibly without Kamari Lassiter, who is questionable. Though Lassiter has been balling just like Kalen Bullock. But defense got to create turnovers and sacks. Sacks from, players like Mario Edwards, Daniil Hunter, hell, even Aziz Shire and Henry To'oTo'o, that linebacking core. Linebacker core got to do their thing and stopping the run too, because Dallas had been having a hard time running the football for sure. So gotta really stop the run too. Make the Cowboys one dimensional. Of course, CeeDee Lamb's a baller. You gotta limit him, take him out the game as well, along with their opposing tight ends. Fredrickson, their tight end, I could be wrong, and Turpin's pretty quick too. So gotta contain him, and mainly contain, slow down CeeDee Lamb with Stingley on him. I could see Stingley sticking, going one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb. Gotta figure out how to slow him down too, because, again, can't let him have a breakout game against the Texans defense. So to prevent that, make Cooper Rush uncomfortable in that pocket and force him to some mistakes. Force him to some mistakes to give the offense a chance to capitalize off turnovers. Because points off turnovers matter. 3 points is cool, but 7 points is really important. Big time. So, got to create turnovers. Play a discipline. Be disciplined defensively. Force them to some forced fumbles as well. Force them to some fumbles. And strip sacks matter too. They can minimum for the Texans to sacks to get is like 3 or 4. They can get like 5 or more sacks. Hey, that would be nice, because sacks really matter in every game, in the regular season and postseason. Though the postseason hasn't came around yet, but I just thought I wanted to throw it out there. But the Texans pass rush, got to be efficient. Throw out some blitzes on a time basis. And players who I would like to see catch a pick or 3, keep, such as Stingley, Bullock, Petrie. I would like to see Petrie get him another pick as well. And I'm not sure Stingley caught a pick this year. I could be wrong, but I would like to see a pick from Stingley. Hell, even I would like to see a pick from one of the linebackers, which would be great. But hey, I'm just throwing it out there though. But all I ask for the Texans not to do is take the Cowboys lightly. I know they've been down bad, but don't take the Cowboys lightly, man, at all. Just like any understanding Texans fan wouldn't take the Dallas Cowboys lightly, because they say any given Sunday and anything and everything is possible. It's enough that the Texans endured a bad loss against the Jets in primetime, based on how bad the offense were. So the offense, got to play a hell of a lot better. And mistake-free football, offensively, without any silly turnovers committed. Because commit careless turnovers, it's a chance that you won't win, regardless who the opponent is. So if they want to win this game, get back in the win column, the team's gonna have to play a lot better, especially in the second half, which has been my concern. Ever since the start of the season, where they had chances to put teams away, but let their opponents hang with them. They're up double digits. Got to keep the foot on there. Keep the foot on the gas, for sure. So, yes, it's going to be interesting to see how the Texans recovered after the past 2 losses they endured. cold losses at that. So, but before I conclude this video, I gotta shout out this Cowboys content creator in Cowboys Corner, who makes Cowboys videos. Shout out to that brother. But hey, let's see what happens on Monday Night Football between the Cowboys and the Texans. So, yeah, till my next video, Loyal to Houston checking on up out of here. 713 to buy your city. Let's go Houston Texans, and